And welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. We're going to jump into another reaction video. Let's get to it.
Here's where I call bullshit on feminists. You guys want to be treated equal? Okay, how about men go to you and say, you need to make 6 or 7 figures? That is fucking crazy and extremely unattainable for most women. Second of all, say you're a guy and you don't come from money and you fucking spend all your time, all the best years of your life. You're going to fucking school, you're hustling, you're finally making 6, 7 figures. I'm sorry, what are you gonna want to do? You're gonna want to run around, have fun because you deserve it, get your fucking dick sucked by every hot girl in sight, which I am absolutely not throwing shade as a female. I completely understand that. And it's like, yeah, and then what? You're gonna go settle down with a 5? Fuck that. Even if you are gonna settle, that bitch is gonna be a solid 10. I don't even understand. I'm a woman and I understand this. I don't understand how others can't. It's like, come on, dude. He put in the work. He deserves it. You don't.
Okay, very good. Very well. So let's recap that real quick. I saw this video before. I took some notes down. And she pretty much says that she's calling BS on feminists. Men should go to women and ask them to make 6 or 7 figures, which is unattainable. Guys don't come from money, spend all their best years of their life going to school and hustling, finally making 6 or 7 figures. Then they should want to run around and have fun because they deserve it and get their dick sucked every night by every hot girl in sight. Then, settling with a 5, they prefer to settle with a 10, and he deserves it because he worked hard for it. So what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
So I have to say it's good to see the tides turning and finally seeing some women kind of little by little step forward and call this bullshit out, this feminism and like these ridiculous standards, because we said this a few times already. You're starting to see women actually see our point of view for once. And I watched a few of her videos. I checked out her channel, and she kind of calls out women out, and she's kind of going against the grain. Usually women are the ones that are supporting each other with this bullshit and cheering each other on. But I think some women are starting to like really think about it and going like, wait a minute, most of this is nonsense. So
yeah, actually, shout out to Emily Saves America, because she seems like she's really holding truth to this. She's not BSing. She really is saying what she feels about this. So shout out to her. I may have botched a little bit what she was saying there in the video, but that's the gist of it. Guys work hard. They make 6, 7 figures after working hard, after hustling, after going to school. They deserve to have fun, and they deserve to get their dick sucked. And then, the feminist movement is BS. That's pretty much what she said. If they're going to settle down, they should settle down with a 10 and not a 5, because he worked his ass off to get that 10.
correct.
So do you approve of her message?
100%, and we've said, how many times we've said this? Women have these extremely high standards. Most of these women aren't 9s or 10s, they're 5s or 6s themselves. They want the guy to make 6 figures. They want him to be tall, good looking, all this stuff. And then when they finally come across a guy like that and casually date him, they think that they actually believe that guy's going to just like settle down and like commit to them, which is hilarious. That's not going to happen. And she said it in the video, like, if a guy actually, and this is assuming the guy actually put the work in and like went to like a good school and got a good job or opened a business and actually became successful, he's not going to want to settle for a 5 or a 6. He's not going to want to settle at all. He's going to want to explore his options, and like, he worked hard for it, and he deserves it. But women have a hard time understanding that. They think like, oh yeah, well, we're going to not only have these ridiculous standards, but we're going to get these type of guys, and they're going to settle down and just be loyal to us. And on top of it, these women most of the time think they could get a guy like that and like not only lock him in, but also like change him too. It's hilarious.
That's the funny thing, that guys become high value with the money and the status, and they work out, they take care of themselves, all the bells and whistles, and women expect to lock him down and pretty much keep him caged in for herself, per se. And it doesn't work that way with high value men. Maybe with average guys, sure, but with high value men that work their asses off for years, she said guys sacrifice years of their life going to school, hustling, and they get to that point when they're successful now, they should be able to do whatever they want. They worked hard to get to that point. They worked hard to climb the mountain. Women are already born and on top of the mountain. I mean, that's how it is. That's how it works. And, you know, she made some great points. She made some great points. And, you know, sometimes you could challenge the legitimacy of what she said, but it seems like she's not BSing. She's saying what is on her mind.
Yeah, it sounded like she was being genuine. That's why I checked her channel out, because I was like, I want to make sure this isn't just like a woman kind of like mocking the whole thing. But I checked out her channel, and she makes a lot of videos of this sort. Look, women need to understand. Okay, you cannot be an average broad, a 5, a 6, a 7, even. You know, you live an average lifestyle. Some of these broads are ghetto, and they still believe that they're going to end up with a high value guy. And this is why I really do believe that in the long run, the dating market will kind of like give or take correct itself, because women have had plenty of time to play this whole feminist bullshit. They had enough time to give this whole stuff their you know, way of approaching things or approaching dating. They had plenty of time to prove to themselves whether it works or it doesn't work, and it's going nowhere. We've said it many times. A lot of these women have taken the independent route. Yeah, they got their degrees, they became financially successful, blah blah blah. They bought a house, and they still have nobody. So, you know, if we're talking about in terms of dating, I think women have proven to themselves that their way of doing it just does not work, and they're failing in real time.
Her caption on her video is, "Why I call BS on feminists." Did she do just that? Did she call BS on them and pretty much blast them out there?
Yeah, she called women out, and I think this is what it's going to take. More and more women are little by little going to have to kind of like take that side, you know. And I think the way she said it, it sounds like she genuinely believed what she was saying. I agree with her completely. And I think that's what it's going to take, because, you know, women are like followers. So when you have a bunch of women cheerleading them on, like, yeah, independence, feminism, yeah, you go, girl, independent. When all women are kind of cheerleading themselves on, you know, it's kind of like the way they act in like those pyramid schemes, the multi-level marketing schemes. You have a room of these like con artists that are just like cheering each other on when it's all a big scam, you know. And that's, in my opinion, that's what the whole feminist movement is. It's just a big scam. All these women are cheering each other on. They don't even know for what. It just they're just like on their high horse, like yeah, independence, women, men are trash. And then a certain amount of years are going to go by, and like women are going to start to really realize, like, wait a minute, what do we actually get out of this? How do we benefit from this? Where is this going to eventually go? It's going nowhere, you know? So I think little by little women are going to start to step out of it as they see that this is kind of like silly, all this.
I have a definition straight out of sources here for feminism. I'm sure many of you know what feminism is, or obviously have an idea about it by now. But feminism: movement to put an end to sexism, sexist exploitation, oppression, and achieve full gender equality in law and practice. So, do you think that women are using feminism incorrectly or are abusing it at this point?
Yes, because the original point of feminism was they wanted equality in the workspace. They wanted equal opportunity for, you know, rights and things like that, which is perfectly fine, and I believe they should have that. But it's morphed into something completely different. This isn't about equality in the workplace anymore. This is or you know, equal income. At this point, it's morphed into just like. At this point, it's just like a power movement. They're just at this point trying to, like, I don't know what their end goal is, what the end goal of the whole movement is, but I think at this point it's just a power struggle between men and women. Like, they're just trying to like outperform us, but with what goal in mind? Like we said the other day, women are buying more houses than men. Fantastic, but you're living in that house alone with your cat. So I don't think. It's so weird. Right now, men and women are like in like this weird competition. It's like we're against each other. We're trying to compete with each other, but it's kind of stupid because, you know, a majority of people are straight. It takes a man and a woman to be in a successful, happy relationship, and this type of power struggle is not getting us anywhere. So,
based off of that, are most women regretting the feminist movement?
It's starting to seem like it. I really believe that more and more women are starting to snap out of it and realize, like, you know, this isn't what was originally sold to us. You know, like we were sold magic beans. Like we were promised, you know, like I think originally when feminism was like sold to women, like they didn't really think, and when this all started, they didn't think to themselves like, how is this eventually going to end? What are going to be the repercussions of this movement? I think it was just like this like power move in the beginning where they were just like, yeah, independence, yeah, let's get educated and get our own careers and buy our own houses. Screw men. But like we said, these women are getting like late 30s, 40s, and what? You happy now? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think feminism is being used so much as hate towards men.
Yeah. Good way to put it.
We don't get this, we don't get that, complain, no accountability, entitlement, narcissism, and it's really blame men for the problems that they have and they've had in the past. And it's totally unfair because, you know, there's a lot of innocent guys out there, you know, that they want women to have their rights. And they understand that women have their rights, and there's no issue with that. But it seems like there is, from my standpoint, there is a bit of an abuse of feminism.
You know something? Women have literally taught men that being good to them doesn't work. They've taught men that chivalry doesn't work. They killed it themselves. And they've basically taught us that women are not reliable. They're not mentally stable. So these aren't things that we came up with. This is like what women are teaching us based on their behavior. And men kind of like, you know, you observe them, you interact with them, you have your relationships, and you have to kind of adapt to how they are. And women have literally, I think we did an episode where we even said it, that like women are literally turning good guys into bad guys based on their behavior.
I mean, can you believe that men can't buy women flowers anymore and have them appreciate it? Chocolates.
It's gotten to that
point. Open the door
for
for them. Like, do all these nice and subtle things, nice gestures that you would think a woman would be impressed by, she would be happy by. However, it's the other way around. It seems like more and more women are disgusted by these gestures.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by that, is that women have taught men that being good to them does not work. They've created that. Like, women always complain about toxic masculinity. Women created toxic masculinity. Okay? Like you just said, treating a woman good, number one, it's not even like a socially acceptable thing to do anymore. Like if you tell somebody like, oh, I bought a woman flowers, I opened a door for her, I took her out. Now it's like it's either simping or you're considered like a try hard, or you're doing too much. So it's just like, that's why so many guys have. How many times have we said this in this podcast? So many guys have retracted. And kind of like women complain that men do the bare minimum. Yeah, you're going to see more and more of that, because I think if anything, men are going to do less and less because they're getting less and less.
I see it from a guy's standpoint. Men are just flat out sick and tired. They're putting the effort, they're spending the money, and they're getting nothing in return. And worse than that, they're losing resources, time, energy. They're investing into something, and they're losing.
Total waste.
It's not that they're even at zero. They're losing time, money, energy. It's not worth it.
Zero reciprocation, zero respect, zero appreciation from women. And that's why this is happening. That's why you have the MGTOW movement. That's why you have men just kind of like retracting from even bothering to try to please women, because it's completely pointless, and it's a waste of time. Men are, like they say, men are going their own way. It's because of how women are acting. And, you know, going back to the video, what is she referring to specifically? She's referring to these women that are going after the top 5-10% of guys, you know, the successful doctors, lawyers, surgeons, pilots, what have you. And these guys are just going to run through them. They're not, these women really believe that these guys are going to date them seriously, that they're going to marry you? Absolutely not, because they put the work in. They put themselves in a position where they have the freedom of choice to date whoever they want, and they're going to explore their options. They're not going to settle for one woman. If they do, like she said, if a man like that's that successful settles for a woman, it better be an extremely good-looking woman that knows how to act.
If a guy settled for you, for a woman, because eventually women want to settle down, may have been the average guy, may have been the average dude, because a high-value guy is going to do his thing. Like you said, he worked hard to achieve greatness, success, all the money that he could ask for, all the social status they can ask for. He worked hard for that to get, as I said before, to the top of the mountain. And he wants to stay on top, and he wants to enjoy the fruits of his labor. So you may be able to settle down with a guy. You may be able to get a guy to commit to you, but it may be a little bit later in age, and it might be an average guy that just didn't make it that far. Unfortunately, there's average guys. We pull for all guys out there. We want all guys to be successful, but unfortunately, the world does not work that way. There's going to be average guys. There's going to be guys that unfortunately struggle, and we do want to see those guys successful in all regard, everything possible. But of course, it's not going to work out that way, as I just said. But those are the guys that women are going to get.
And that's the funny thing. The playing field in dating is not even at all. You have women that are painfully average themselves that don't want average guys. They want successful guys. They have to meet all this criteria. If women actually approach dating logically, which they're never going to do that, they would say to themselves, okay, if I want a guy that's XYZ, loyal, treats me right, there's all that stuff, they would have to turn it down a few notches. You're not going to get the guy that makes $400K a year. I'm sorry, he's not going to do all that. He's going to be focused on himself and exploring his options. He's not going to just sleep with one woman and get married. He's not going to do it. If women really want that, they're going to have to they're not going to like hearing this. You're going to have to settle for an average guy. And maybe that's the better option for you. Maybe you're an average woman yourself and you need an average guy.
Big time. There's a lot of truth in that. Let's pause here for a second, guys. Guys, we're on the road to 1,000. We're giving you all we have here. Subscribe to the channel. Get us on the road to 1,000 and past it. And we are going to give you so much more. This podcast is going to keep growing, and growing. There's so much we have in store for you. You guys have no idea yet what we have in mind. And we're not going to say it yet, but we have definitely some plans ahead. So let's get to that point. 1,000 subs. Like the video. Share the video, because we know there's a lot of people that need to know about this. And we have some other videos that we've done, and it's unfortunate that it hasn't gotten the push that it deserves, because there's a lot of people that need to understand what's going on. There's a lot of people that need to know what the stats and the sources are saying. So it's very important that you push this out there, and we appreciate your support. Do women have more rights than men now? Because again, we know that we have the feminist movement. Women are really fighting for their rights, and in most cases nowadays abusing it, because it seems like women are much more compatible when it comes to the rights that men have. But do women have an upper hand?
100%, and it's funny because women still complain as if they don't. I still hear the same bullshit arguments all the time. Oh, we don't have equal rights. Oh, we get paid less. Oh, this and that. What more do these women want? I mean, at this point, I feel like society literally bows down to women. I mean, they're not held accountable for anything. They can do whatever they want. They have absolutely every which right. Like, name one thing that a woman can't do at this point. Like, in society, at least in the U.S., that a man can't. There's no more. It's not the 50s anymore. Where like, oh, we don't hire women, or like, we pay women less specifically. No, it's not like that anymore. If anything, you'll notice now that companies are incentivized to hire more women now, because this is the result of feminism. This is kind of like what they wanted, right? So, yeah, they absolutely have more rights, and they have more rights, more freedoms. I mean, look, we talk about it on the podcast all the time. Women can go to a club, get in for free. They could go get thrown on yachts for free without earning it or deserving it whatsoever. They could just walk right on. Even on podcasts, they bring women on podcasts all the time. These women are nobodies, OnlyFans models. They just get these girls off the street. As a man, you don't have those privileges. As a man, you have to be somebody to be invited to that yacht or to that party or to get into somewhere. It's not. We don't have that right where we could just show up. That doesn't exist for men. If you just show up, they're going to be like, who the hell are you? Get out of here. Like,
women have their looks. That's what gets them in the door and further. It really gets them through life, if anything, because they have OnlyFans. They have guys paying for OnlyFans. They get on the yachts. They get into the clubs. They get in VIP. So for women to say that they don't have more opportunities than guys, it's right there. Mm-hmm. It's on a silver platter. You're being given so much more than guys could ever wish for.
I think it's gone to a point where they actually have it too good. I think it's really gone to a point where they have it too good, and the end result of that is like You have women that have like body counts of 100 plus. I think they've it's gotten to a point where like they've a little bit overindulged in their freedoms, if you will, because these women are completely out of control.
And that's the problem, because that's where women let it get to their head.
Yeah,
and then they
exactly.
start abusing it, and they say, well, I want more rights, I want more rights, when in reality they have so many rights. I mean, unless the laws are starting to change, because I hear some exceptions here and there. Alimony goes to women. Child support to women. The kids to women, when it comes to marriages, and we've talked about that a handful of times before. We just named probably 7 or 8 advantages that women have over men. So how can women overdo it with the fight for feminism? You have all the rights and then some, and a lot of some.
And that's why, like this woman in the video, I'm glad to see for once that women are slowly starting to step out of that box, out of that mindset, and go, you know what, this is all bullshit. And they're starting. Women are actually calling other women out on this BS. And I think that's what it takes, because women don't want to hear it from men. If we say it, they don't want to hear it from us. They don't take it seriously. They're just going to laugh and brush it off. But when other women start to take that side, the more women start to take that side, maybe it's going to start to convince other women, like, okay, this feminist thing is kind of bullshit. We went through this whole song and dance for X amount of years. It's not going anywhere. Let's maybe reconsider our actions, because I really do believe, like, the way the dating is right now, it's like at the worst point it's ever been. And I do believe it'll correct itself. I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but I think with due time, you're going to start to see women start to realize, like, yeah, this is not getting us nowhere.
I think it's going to be a long time, though, before that happens. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
maybe
things.
it's wishful thinking, too. Maybe it's just going to get worse.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have to fall into place for that to work out. I do come across, people, as Emily Saves America, women that are pushing for the stop to this abuse of feminism, that, it's gone too far because it's not working as much in their favor. Their guys are not putting as much the effort as they were, and who can blame them? If you try something, you're not successful, why do you want to keep forcing it? You just want to live your life, enjoy your life. Why do you want to settle? And that's what I wanted to ask you next. Women get everything for the most part, and especially if she has beauty, she has looks, she's going to get it all. Guys have to earn it.
Yep.
Should men be forced to settle, or should they go out, have fun, do what they want with their life? And as she said, get blown by beautiful women all the time.
Yeah, as a man, it makes absolutely no sense to settle, and I'll tell you exactly why. I said this on our last episode. A woman will always benefit by having a man by her side. Even if the guy's painfully average, she will benefit in some way, shape, or form by having that guy. Whether he fixes her tire or her air conditioning or helps her pick something, a woman will always benefit by having a man by her side, even if she settles, right? A man will not necessarily benefit by just settling and having some overweight bitchy woman by his side, or like somebody he's not attracted to, because women don't really bring that much value to begin with. Like, what are you going to do for me? Like, just stand there? Like, women don't bring that much value to the guy's life. That's kind of a harsh truth, if you want to say. That's why we value looks and all that, because that's what we like and that's what we value in the relationship. And to just settle on for some random woman, it makes no sense at all. Women aren't settling. Why should you?
So the guy that makes 6-7 figures, has social status, looks good, he got to that point here, and that he should go have the time of his life.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, she said it in the video. Women chase after these guys thinking that things are going to be sweet when they finally get there. These guys are going to run through you, all your friends, and they're going to laugh in your face. These are not the type of guys to settle down. Okay, so any woman that chases after guys like that, like, just know what you're signing up for, because they're not gonna settle down with you, and they shouldn't.
It's crazy because things were so much different a couple decades ago. 2-3 decades ago, it never was like this. And, it's all due to the changes that we've had with social media, cell phones. We never used to have phones. You used to ask a girl out on a date. You used to go knock on her door and, start by asking her to hang out.
You know,
It used to work that way, not what it is now, where you have bazillion options and people just don't know what to do because you're looking here, you're looking right, up, down. And for women, there's all these options that they get. Even for the 4s, 5s, and 6s of women, you know, they have this kind of high about themselves that, you know, I'm the shit and you're going to take me as I am or else.
generally speaking, you know, we just talked about like the high value guys, but honestly, even for average guys, the way women are nowadays, being good to them will get you nowhere. I'm not saying to like, you know, mistreat women or anything like that, but the idea of just being good to them, like being a good person to them or something like that, it does not work. Women have literally taught us this by their actions. Being good to women just will not get you anywhere. And I'm telling you, I think women have killed chivalry. I think women have killed dating. And that's what happens. That's the end result of when women get put in that kind of like leadership role. Once women get that freedom where they have some control over things, everything's gonna fall apart. That's what they did to dating.
Yeah, I have some numbers here. 32% of men globally believe feminism does more harm than good. That's 28% in the U.S. And 32% globally believe traditional masculinity is under threat, you know, is under attack. That's 45% in the U.S.
Humanity has made it this far without feminism. Okay, it's not something needed. It's a toxic hateful culture just disguised as equality.
Last question here. Is the traditional relationship dead and did feminism kill it?
100%. And that's really the main purpose of this whole episode before we wrap it up is that, you know, feminism is a toxic movement. There's no positive benefit for men or women or dating or marriages. It's killing dating in real time. And it needs to end. And I hope, you know, we're going to wrap it up with this. This woman is starting to call out other women, and I would like to see other women start to really wake up to how big of a nonsense it is. So
it takes one person to make a change, and one person leads to two people leads to four people leads to 8. It grows exponentially, and the change starts within yourself. If you want to see a different outcome, you have to make the change, and it's possible, but it's going to take a long time. There's a long road ahead. But we hope for the best. We hope for the best for everybody.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We will catch you on the next video.
Subscribe to the channel. Road to 1,000. Peace.